Well, for those who did not watch that particular episode of Sunday Politics, that was an excerpt of the interview that may possibly be a rabble-rouser. Well, let's get some legal perspective into the matter. We have joining us on the program to shed some light on the issue, legal practitioner Liborous Oshomah. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, as always. You are looking takeaway.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Oshomah. Well, you saw that interview, and you also listened to all what Dr. Aluko said. And now the development from the Ekiti State Judiciary, where an arrest warrant has been issued. What are your thoughts on this?
First and foremost, this is why some of us have been clamoring for a divorce between the office of the state of Federal Attorney General and that of the Commissioner for Justice, has become imperative. Because these are not allegations you just allow to go simply because somebody says, I don't know this man or is a liar and all of that. These are allegations that should be investigated seriously. And if investigated in Ekiti, it is easier for us to say, oh, it is the man in the eye of the storm that is investigating. If it investigated at the federal, also it is easier for those in Ekiti to say, well, it is the APC government who have been crying foul that is doing the investigation. And so there's need for us to, this is a point at the fact that there's need for us to begin to look at our institutions and see how to insulate them from politics. Dr. Aluko cannot be exonerated from all of this. Because if you listen to the interview, he kept saying, we, not them, we. So that means he was a participant. And so the position of the law is that this should be properly investigated. Apart from the perjury angle that we're talking about now, that there was that he was the only witness for PDP at the tribunal, and that his evidence was contrary to the revelation that he made on channels now. Apart from that, also what transpired is a manipulation of due process. It's electoral fraud perpetrated in Ekiti. Him and all those involved, apart from the governor who's enjoying immunity now, who after his tenure also, if he's found culpable, also should be arrested. So it is not the fact that, because I've listened to people say, oh, leave the messenger, address the message. There is no way you can address the message without addressing the messenger who participated in the fraud. That's the, so also to serve as a deterrent to others who would want to participate in manipulating electoral processes on the basis that there is a promise. It's like armed robbers going to rob, and then there's a promise of how to share the loot, because that's basically what is playing out here. And after the robbery, one of them decided, or the loot was not shared accordingly, and so the other one decided, okay, you can't cheat me, I would go and confess. For the fact that that man confessed does not exonerate him from the crime. And that's ordinarily, at best in law, gives a lead to the security operatives to look into the matter and say, okay, now we have a confessional statement. Let's begin to, investigate and tie people to all the allegations made. Okay,
just a moment, Mr. Oshomah. Can a TV interview of this magnitude be deemed a confessional statement, and is it admissible in a court of law?
It's the best confessional statement you can get, because it's a confessional statement made to the entire world. Even as I speak now, with retraction in criminal matters, the new Administration of Criminal Justice Act did prescribe that for you to take a confessional statement from a suspect, that it must be video recorded. And so we had also been clamoring for, installation of equipment for police to enable them, carry out this act as prescribed by the law. And so for this kind of confession to the entire world, it's not just at the police station now, everybody watched it and it is recorded. You can always play back.
Okay.
So there is no confessional statement that can be more than that.
All right, let's take a look at a quote that raised this whole issue. A lawyer filed an application to the Attorney General of the state. Let's take a look at it now. The matter, the quote says, the matter was premised upon an application to the state Attorney General by a lawyer, Mr. Sunday Ololafe, calling for the prosecution of Mr. Aluko for alleged perjury. The legal practitioner said, and I quote, "I hereby apply to your office that Dr. Temitope Aluko be arrested and sued for perjury in view of the interview recently granted on Channels Television by 8 p.m. on Sunday, the 31st of January 2016. The said Dr. Temitope Aluko now recanted the evidence he gave in the course of the hearing of the Ekiti State governorship election." This lawyer seems to focus primarily on the issue of perjury.
For me, basically, we should not be focused on the issue of perjury alone, because when we do that, what it means is that we lose sight of the facts, of the fact that the issue, the gamut of what we are discussing is the fact that elections were manipulated in Ekiti, and somebody came out to say, look, I was part of those that manipulated the process. Forget whatever I said in court, but this is what actually transpired, and we manipulated the process. Apart from looking at the perjury angle, also that's the bulwark, the crux of the matter is the fact of that manipulation. And so that is where the perjury is resting on the ground that he did testify before a tribunal as to what transpired in court. And so we cannot close our eyes to the fact. I expected also the application should be holistic to the fact that those that participated in the process, also people whose names were mentioned by Dr. Aluko also should be invited for questioning, an investigation, a detailed investigation ordered and carried out to find out the culpability of these people, and not just to look at the perjury angle, because if you look at the perjury angle alone, you miss the entire point.
All right, just hold that thought, Mr. Oshomah. We'll need to take a moment here. Well, remember, you can join the conversation on Twitter. It's at CTV Politics, and the hashtag to use is hashtag Politics Today. We'll be right back, and the discussion is on the Ekiti elections matter. And we're also keeping tabs on the Supreme Court proceedings in the nation's capital, Abuja, on the Abia and Akwa Ibom state governorship elections. Join us again.